I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Scoring position for Contreras and a ground ball to the left side. It'll sneak through. Churio around third. The throw home from Torres is offline. The Brewers with another first inning run. 2-2. Fly ball left center. It's clipped. It is back. It is gone. Christian Yelich exits stage left. Liner, shallow left center. Scott can't get it. Vaughn scores. It's 4-1 on the base hit by Mitchell. Fly ball down the left field line. This is towards the corner. Down! And it will hop over the fence for an automatic double. It costs the Brewers a run, but they cash in on one of them on the double by Vaughn. Burleson pops it up. That is in play. Who wants it? Rengifo calls. The Brewers take game one against St. Louis. Miz, brilliant. And a 5-1 win against St. Louis on Memorial Day.
Yeah, that Miz guy is pretty good at baseball.
Mm-hmm. Confirmed.
Glad he's with us. And the best part about a holiday weekend is that we don't even have to talk about the Dodgers series. Like, oh, look, Cardinals, W. Yay, Brewers.
Hooray!
What's up?
Dodgers?
Yeah, right?
Series?
Yeah, what series? Yeah, doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter because we didn't sweep them. But boy, when we swept them, it mattered.
True.
What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Tuesday. Feels like a Monday, but it's not. Even though it's a Tuesday. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Back in the saddle on your radio statewide on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Oh, yeah. Tuesday after a holiday weekend.
Oh, yeah. You're all stretched out, ready to
you
go?
Know, a lot of people say I take off Mondays.
Yep.
I did.
You and almost everyone else.
Should have been almost everyone. What was Mitch doing in here?
I honestly am not sure. I'm not sure. He was feeling it. He was like, let's ride.
He said to me on Friday, hey, are you with me? No. Nope. Sure not. When I got the call, I'm sure you were asked, well, maybe not because you were on your trip, but hey, Trev, do you want to do the show on Memorial Day or can you? And I'm like, first off, no. Second off, no.
Right.
We're at this event all weekend on Memorial Day weekend in De Pere. You're off. No, I don't understand.
Right. I was kind of like, why would we do the show? And when I'm out, I always prep whoever's filling in on, all right, here's, I tell them where everything is in the fridge, right? All right. If you're looking for the ketchup, it's over here. If you're looking for the mayonnaise, it's back here. Tell them where everything is. When I found out Mitch was doing a show on Monday, I was like, do you need to know where things are? And Mitch was like, I'm just doing the Mitch Spectacular, the Mitch Memorial Day Spectacular. I went, all right, great. Have a good one. Bye.
We don't know what that means.
No clue.
Honestly, I'm afraid to go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it was something.
Definitely in a thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Something, for sure.
No, I love
All
Thunder.
right, well, let's get back to normal business, shall we? Let's play catch-up. Happy Tuesday.
Packers.
OTAs start this week, and I don't know what that means for the season. We talked about this last week. What's the start? When you now have to pay attention to literally everything. Oh, what door was that? Did the door just open? Did it shut? Who walked through it? Jordan Love had a baby a month ago. Maybe that's the biggest Packers news that we start off a Tuesday with. But OTAs start, a little baby girl, by the way, month old.
Mazel.
Now I'm still doing the show with Mitch.
Yeah.
OTAs, Josh, do you pay attention to this? There's a few 2-3 weeks here. Mandatory minicamp. We'll hear from LaFleur tomorrow.
Not really. I think a lot of it depends on what else is happening in my Wisconsin sports cycle. Valid. And when the Brewers and the Miz are doing those things, I'm going, okay, cool. So it's just OTAs. Awesome. And that's it. And I just put it aside. And it's a good thing. In my opinion, when you don't have to hyper focus on the Packers OTAs, that's a good thing. that means that some other thing is going well in Wisconsin sports.
Pretty much. But also, like, there's really nothing, at least in my mind, I guess, and maybe you disagree, but is there anything major story-wise in the Packers right now? Or does it feel pretty set? Like, where do we have questions?
I think that we, for the most part, at the end of last season, when we looked at those holes that needed to be filled, I think some of that is still there, but there's no new answers to the questions. I think that's the big
What's your
takeaway.
biggest question?
Well, like, we're still wondering, like, okay, yeah, they gave LVN, the 1-year extension, but do we know? Like, is LVN going to be an impact player this year? Can't find that out in OTAs. We thought maybe there might be some juice to a kicking controversy. We're going to have a little kicking competition. Packers made sure to take that, thought away. So it's kind of any of the answers that we were looking for at the end of last year or even after the draft. There's nothing that's going to come to light in OTAs that's going to help us answer those.
And even if it did, it wouldn't matter anyway. Once July comes around and training camp starts and everybody's here, although the mandatory mini camp, that is June 9, 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to watch because the word mandatory matters.
Sure.
And I'm more curious who doesn't show up for OTAs but does for the mandatory minicamp. That's when the drama starts. Yeah.
Right. Because who says it's worth it to show up and who doesn't need the money and blah, blah, blah. Yep.
Oh, but are they a team player? We'll read into that.
Right. I was going to say, when you think of that narrative, who's the first name you think of?
Aaron Rodgers.
100%.
Right.
Like, defined every offseason was, what's Rodgers going to do now? You going to show up?
Well, but hey,
no?
So glad he's there in camp early with the OTAs in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
He's just loving life.
Yeah, listen, he missed that. That's one of the biggest things he missed.
I'm going to beat you to it, JB. There he is talking crap about Rodgers first thing on a Tuesday. You're welcome. The Nicolay Law Talk and Text line is open, 414-677-1250. What's on your mind after Memorial Day weekend? There's Packers. Oh, look at the Brewers.
Brewers.
Mainly concerned about yesterday, but let's just at least touch base on the fact that we lost our first series in like 8 years, it feels like.
Yeah, thankfully.
Against the Dodgers. Now, how funny that last year when we swept the Dodgers in the regular season, everybody was like, ho, this is a big, and then it turned out to not matter at all in the NLCS. So here we are, regular season, we lose a series to the Dodgers, and you're okay with it. I think I'm okay with it, but there are some things in that series I was not okay with.
Yeah, I think that overall I'm okay with it because it seemed to me like it was an easy walk in the park for the Brewers to beat the Dodgers last year. And we said, we understand the Dodgers have a lot of injuries right now, but they're still the Dodgers, right? And then when it came playoff time, it turned out, oh no, these are the Dodgers. And so I think it's good for this team, especially still these young guns on this team, to see a Dodgers team that isn't severely hurting and kind of get their butt kicked by them and go, okay, so now have a chip on your shoulder, focus in on this. Should it end up that you face them again in the postseason?
Friday looked good, but that's because Logan Henderson looked good. He didn't walk 1,000 people like the Brewers did on Saturday and Sunday. So dropped 2 of those 3 games, lost Saturday 11-3. That was a bit of a whoa. But there again, look at who came in out of the bullpen after Grant Anderson. I mean, DL Hall, Jake Woodford, Robert Gasser is not the answer in the rotation. We're still trying to figure out what's Woody's deal. And then 5-1 on Sunday. Brewers lose to the Dodgers, yet won yesterday, 5-1. The difference seems to be walks. If we could get our pitching staff to not walk so many guys. I mean, look at the Miz yesterday. 0 walks. No, sorry, 1 walk from the Miz. Aaron Ashby had no walks, but I was told there would be no math. 1 and 0, 1 plus 0. That's 1 walk.
Right. I know that math. Yeah.
That is really impressive, and yet that's what it kind of takes. 12 strikeouts from the Miz yesterday, 5-2 on the season. I wonder how Aaron Ashby felt coming in, pitching 2 full innings, not giving up a single hit, striking out 1, didn't walk anybody, and he doesn't get a win. I would be like, hey, what do you guys want me to do?
What is this? Why am I pitching that? Right. No, Murph needed to make sure he got some work. You know, need to make sure he was
Yeah.
using Astrid.
This is what it's like to pitch and just actually do your job versus all the things that we've asked you to do so far.
Get a
this
win.
season.
Right.
Bats seem to be doing okay. It's really the pitching where we have questions. Coming up later in the show, what does a big swing look like? We talked a little bit about this, Josh, while you were out. What does a move look like? And if we are going to make a move, who would that move be? But you weren't here to give your take, so we'll check in with you on what your thoughts on, all right, what does a move look like,
Yeah.
if anything?
I think there, a little bit more to that too, is just looking at these pieces, right? We just talked about how you're not going to get a lot of answers out of the OTAs for the Packers. Well, at the beginning of the season, when they were kind of just plug and playing pitchers in as they were dealing with injuries and everything else, you didn't really know who was going to take off, who was going to be a right move, who wasn't. Now that they're kind of figuring things out, and you have 3 pitchers that are just pitching incredibly in the starting rotation with more guys still on the injured list, it made me say, okay, so who would you want to take a big swing and get if Woodruff can come back, if Priester has stuff when he's back? Like, when you have these guys that you're going to get back at some point, hopefully, right? And if they still have their stuff, what's the move? So I'll be interested to talk that in the morning mind up.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talking text line to chime in on that. The I Have Questions portion of the show has a little bit to do with Milwaukee Brewers baseball-ish over the weekend. If you watched any of the games or spent any time on social media, you saw there was a tarp or 2 or 3 off in the upper deck. A lot of tarps off. And the Brewers were sounding off about it and stopping people from participating in said tarps off celebration. We have questions as to why. How do you feel about it? How do the Brewers feel about it? And did you participate? Did any of you listening here on a Tuesday morning, by chance, were you a part of the crowd with your tarp off?
Or would you? If you weren't there, would you? I can't wait. It'll be a fun I Have Questions.
That's coming up at the bottom-ish of the hour. Tarps-ish, Brewers-ish, Badgers athletic director-ish.
No.
Badgers.
Well, there seems to be a front runner, though, which I have questions about. We're just going to ask a bunch of questions today. The front runner is currently the interim athletic director. His name, Marcus Sedberry. Problem, it's Dr. Marcus Sedberry.
Why is that a problem?
Because he's qualified.
Okay.
That's usually what that means, right? Like, you spent some time working on your career. You have a doctorate. It is not a PhD, but it is up there in terms of that's about as far as you can go in your biz, your line of work. The doctor name. There is one line on his resume that makes me out right away. And listen, I've never talked to him. I don't know him.
Can't wait to have him on as a new AD.
Couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be my luck? Hey, welcome.
Make sure to save this.
Yeah, you would. You would. All right, let's get Trevor's thoughts. I'm out on this guy. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm out on the guy. I'm out on the decisions. Listen, football is busted. And if it gets fixed this year, well, then I guess we all get to eat crow. Don't eat crow. Don't promise to eat crow. God, they're going to win the Super Bowl. I know it's going to happen. So he was a part of the coaching decision with McIntosh to bring in Fickle, and he's the general manager of athletics. I don't look at the Badgers athletic department and go, man, that's put together.
They're one piece away, right? Like you're taking in an already polished product. That's not the situation in Madison.
And if he was a part of polishing the turd, well, then maybe that he's not the front runner. But according to all reports right now, he seems to be, because he's that interim guy. And that's kind of the way that Wisconsin athletics has gone. Look at Greg Gard, interim.
Sure. But isn't that overall in sports? Don't you find that that's usually not the case? And that always blew my mind. Why, when you have an interim guy, it's rarely does that guy end up getting the job. And I was like, why? Like, you thought he was good enough to coach, even if that coach does well, like in his interim period. It seems like, okay, good job. You got us to where we needed you to finish off the season. You actually exceeded expectations. Now get out. Okay. Thanks.
He was a part of the head coach evaluations and hires, including football. I'm out.
Yeah.
Find someone else.
I'm not going to say I'm with you because when we have him on, I'm not going to be on that side of the aisle. But it is, if you're looking for a splash, if you're looking for a big splash in the program, you can't keep going back to the same well.
I'm not even looking for a splash. I'm just looking for somebody to come in and shake the tree.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of looking for a splash. I'm kind of looking for there's a new sheriff in town bringing new rules, you know?
What makes a bigger splash? A name that we recognize or somebody we've never heard of?
That's a good point. I almost want to, in this case, say that it's someone we've never heard of. Someone that's isn't under the tree, the current tree of coaching and all the way up the line.
That's how I felt about Luke Fickell.
Good point. Good point. So maybe that's not it. I don't know. I don't know. This is why I'm not part of the decision board making this decision. I would very easily be swayed. Be like, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe I was wrong. You know what? That's another good point. Maybe I was right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I know. It'd be bad.
Do we know anything with Giannis?
Bucks.
I mean, it depends who you believe. Here's Shams with an update from Milwaukee.
Jimmy Haslam came out last week and said either the Bucks will get a long-term commitment from Giannis or trade him in June. My understanding is this will be a very simple conversation. Giannis has made it clear for a period of months now that he believes the time has come for both sides to part ways. I'm told nothing has changed about that stance. So the next conversation will be, where will he want to play long-term? Where will Giannis commit long-term to his future? Because he's only got 1 year guaranteed left on his contract. That gives him a level of sway and power over his future. But the Bucks and Giannis will be working together on a resolution in the coming weeks.
I'm over it. I'm completely over it.
Yeah.
Hurry up and trade him or don't. But here's my problem with that report from ESPN and Shams Charania. It's nothing new. It's the exact same thing on repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Thank you.
No stories, though, Josh, are coming out with they've talked about an extension. They've talked about the Supermax. They're working on details of that to see if it's the right fit. Everything we hear is nothing but trade.
Yeah, but that's because the trade talk is sexy. If this was, honestly, even if this was like LeBron and LA, it still would be more sexy to find out where he could be going instead of keeping things status quo. That's just for the media. That's not as sexy of a story, plain and simple. There's, as much as Shams is trying to put together a story of nothing here, there's even less to put together if it's, and we'll see if he stays. Okay, thanks for that report. Like there's nothing there unless someone comes out and actually says that the sides are talking.
But why aren't anybody local taking that and running with it? Like somebody locally could easily do a story on saying, here's what it would look like if Giannis stayed. Here's what it looks like to rebuild around him. I think the problem, Josh, that we got nothing left, man. We've given it all I've got, Captain.
Yeah.
We got no picks. We got no people. How in this moment do they build around Giannis again with the current state of the state?
Well, and that's why, and the one thing, if you're going to take something away from what Shams was saying there, is the fact that he's only going to have the year. So when the Bucks are saying, hey, we have a nice, shiny Giannis available, and other teams are making offers, there's a ton of leverage to the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, we're not sure about Giannis with his injuries. Okay, well, we need to make sure that Giannis wants to play here long term. They can't trade him to a team that's a bottom feeder team because Giannis won't sign there. And then if he doesn't sign there, then the other team isn't going to take him. They're not going to take a 1 year rental on a Giannis. They just won't. And so that's where it kind of comes down to the same thing of, all right, either the Bucks need to say, we're not getting enough back for Giannis, and we're going to do everything in our power to try to have him stay here because this is the best case scenario for everyone, or the Bucks might get fleeced on this, and that's my biggest fear.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you can't help but think about the Willie Adames piece with the Brewers and them not getting anything to show for him being here in Milwaukee. Then Freddie Peralta gets dealt, and we're all like, well, come on, we could have used him. No, we learned our lesson there. Take a step back from this Giannis thing for just a second. The Bucks have very little leverage. If you really just kind of fine-tune this, he's got 1 year left on his deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing forcing him to sign a Supermax, although if put in front of him, there's nothing saying that he wouldn't, other than Shams. And therefore, teams know that they don't necessarily have to give up the farm.
Right.
I have a bad feeling about that all of a sudden.
Well, I think there's a few more factors that go into it, though. First of all, it only takes two teams to start a bidding war. So if there's two teams that think that they are a Giannis away from a championship, they will. They will sell the farm. They'll put out picks. They'll do whatever they need to because they're thinking, man, imagine our team with Giannis. The problem is that Giannis isn't helping things with the injuries that he's gone through the last couple of years. And then the fact, too, that if he on top of that becomes picky about where he goes, well, then he's giving the Bucks leverage away. So it's those type of things that I think, to your point, lessen the Bucks leverage. It's not necessarily that the Bucks are doing anything to hurt it. It's just the situation as it currently lays.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Anything else?
Charlie Moore passed away over the weekend. He died on May 23rd at the age of 72. Charlie Moore, right fielder, one heck of a throw. He's remembered by most in the NLCS, or the ALCS, I should say. Game 5 threw out Reggie Jackson from the Angels at third to keep that game where it was and ultimately win it 3-2 and go to the World Series. He batted out of his mind during those games, batted something like 462 during the ALCS, 346. He was 9 for 26, 3 doubles, 2 RBIs in the World Series. He was a part of that Just a Bit Outside documentary on the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers team and that season in general. What I found fascinating towards the end of that movie, Josh, was when they brought up the World Series to all the guys that were in that, all of them had to pause and you could see their bottom lip quivering. Like, that's how much it sticks with you when you lose something like the World Series. So RIP to Charlie Moore. He was a great interview in that, and a Brewer through and through outside of one season with the Blue Jays in 87.
Yeah, obviously it's unfortunate, and you hate when anyone from the team or just anyone in general passes away. 72 is still not an age that you look at and go, hey, lived a great life. Young,
right? Lived a great life, but damn, dude, 72, right. Awful.
Correct. But on top of that, to me, it was kind of a wake-up call of, oh, hey, these guys from the 82 team, they're not young guys anymore. Yeah. And this city, for, in my opinion, way too long, has been celebrating year in and year out that 1982 team. And it's something to think about now when you look at the ages of some of these guys and going, unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated.
We talk a lot about doing it for Uke. I just as much want to do it for those guys in 82 as well. And let's get back there, shall we? Sooner than later, because Father Time indeed is undefeated. On that note, let's take our shirts off and have a Tuesday, shall we? Tarps off at the Brewers game over the weekend. And we've seen this across the country. And I think it started with Pat McAfee in College Game Day, always taking his shirt off, and they're doing tarps off for college football. But where does this end? And or maybe where does it start? We'll give you the feedback from the Brewers organization. Plus, we want to know if you were one of them that had their tarp off. Their shirt off, by the way, in case you have no idea what we're talking about.
Going, what's this about tarps?
Yeah, I don't get it.
A lot of tarp talk today.
Giant section at AmFam Field full of males with no shirts on. Key point, by the way.
Yes, very much
important.
So. Mm-hmm.
Was there that one random 40-year-old dude? I want to know that too.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. There's so many questions and things to dissect with this. I love it. I can't wait for this.
If I stood up to go over there, my wife would pull right out of old school. Frank, get in the car. Frank, get in the car.
Yeah, but
Don't-
those guys would have lost their damn minds.
which would have been awesome.
I know.
Makes me still want to do it.
I know.
414-677-1250. The Nick Lay Law Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line. I have questions. And it starts with, what's up with this tarps off thing? If you saw it over the weekend at AmFam Field and across Major League Baseball, young men, mostly, we think,
That's all I've seen.
are congregating together in a section that is typically ticketless. And that's where the tarps come off. The shirts come off, and it is a bare-chested brotherhood like none other, waving said shirt above their heads, or tarp in this category, and it makes TV, which maybe it shouldn't, but it does. And then they go back to their seats, which seems harmless.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to ignore, first and foremost, when you get enough people. So the first time that I saw this season, and someone on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line, 414-677-1250, can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was actually at a Cardinals game in St. Louis. It wasn't against the Brewers. It was just the St. Louis Cardinals fans were doing it first, and it became a thing. Then the next day they did it again, and then I think then the players like celebrated in the locker room, kind of doing the same thing. They all took their shirts off. Then it started spreading across the MLB into other stadiums and other leagues. And then we saw it happen at American Family Field. And then the big kicker was we started seeing security be put outside of that section. So first of all, let's start with, I believe the section is 438, 439, like way up there in the corner of left field.
Yep.
The Bernie's Terrace seats, which were always like not the euchre seats, but pretty darn close to those, to where really the only time those tickets were getting sold were sellouts, when you just needed to be in the building.
Well, and about that, over the weekend, that was the problem. So that section was a part of a sellout. And the Brewers came out with a statement and explained their thinking in regards to guarding the section so that more and more people, because this is not like a group of people that buy a group section of tickets. It's almost like a little gang of shirtless dudes.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the wave. Like when you start the wave, it's kind of like the same thing with the tarps off. There are people that
move seats, yeah.
Right, but there are people that run up to that section. Because they saw people start to go up there, and they went, "Oh, it's happening. Okay, I'm going." And they run up there. But the Brewers just got a ton of, on social media, like a ton of people saying, "Boo." let them do it. Let them celebrate that way. Let them do their thing.
So J.R. Radcliffe came out with a piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel who quoted the Brewers, a spokesperson saying, "We are very supportive of tarps off that we see at stadiums around the country, including here at AmFam Field. It brings incredible energy and fun to the ballpark, period." New sentence.
Right.
For the last 3 Brewers games, including today, it's been a challenge, though, for space. Near sellouts have limited available blocks of seating for this to take place. Those sections are near capacity with fans who have purchased seats there, and that leaves little room. So when open seating is not available, we have to limit access to the area. They're in a tough spot. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. You can't let that happen if those seats are sold and it's a sellout type of scenario, and not letting that happen, even though there's seats sold, just for a half inning. But then if you had seats in that section and you're there with your family of 4 and you're up in the probably the seats that come with 4 sodas and 4 hot dogs, I mean, they're up there. Way up there.
Way up there. Yep.
But it's very normal. I mean, like, I feel like there's a 5-county deal that probably involves seats in the 400 level. And
absolutely.
It's not abnormal for those tickets to be gone, especially on a sellout day like a holiday weekend. So they caught a lot of flack, yet they probably didn't need to because it's the right thing to do, except on listen, if they try to shut it down on a Monday or Tuesday night game earlier in the week that has nothing to do with a holiday weekend or anything like that, well, then I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think that one of the big things, too, with this is it's kind of like when the teacher or, the parent wants to be the cool parent, but also needs to be responsible. And it's like a tough spot for that reason, right? Because I think they realize, and I believe this too, that it's good for growing the game. You're not seeing guys our age go up and doing this, right? You're seeing younger guys that are doing this that usually would be just enjoying baseball on their phones if they're enjoying it at all, right? So continuing to grow the brand, grow the game, this is a good thing for that. That being said, if you're the Brewers, what do? You can't kick a family out of their right. seats. So I get it all around. It's a tough spot. You're trying to act like it's cool. Here's the bigger thing with this. As cool as I think it is, there's no way that this lasts. Someone ruins this for everyone. Something
you mean
happens.
Like spaghetti dinners at the ballpark like that?
No, I'm thinking more like we've said, like a lot of males have done this. It takes one indecent exposure complaint, something to happen to where it ruins it for everybody, right?
There should probably be an age limit in terms of the man that's allowed to participate. Speaking of indecent, it should not be us. We should not be up there with our shirts off in the tarps off section to go participate. Although they love it. I mean, Josh, is that something you're doing?
No, it's not. No.
What? Well, but this seems like a Josh Albrecht thing, though. Why not?
Well, all right. So here's the thing. I can't say no, depending on how many beverages I might have.
How many is it going to take?
I mean, I don't know. It's the peer pressure, right? It would be the peer pressure for me.
414-677-1250. Vote now if you want Josh to go to the game tonight.
Here's the real question. My impact in comparison to Trevor Thomas's impact making it into the tarps off section are vastly different. Because
you have a much greater impact.
No. I will. I'm bigger, and I definitely should keep my shirt on more than you should. But you stand there without a shirt on. You're covering multiple people. You look like the leader of the tarps off minions.
Need to be the leader
surrounding you. I'm telling you, you go there and you do that. You're waving your shirt around. Your shirt is covering 4 rows up.
Yeah, okay. Who do we want to see participate? Maybe that could be a thing.
Jeff Levering.
Yes.
Can you imagine if Jeff
with
goes,
headset on?
No, Jeff was just like, all right, we're going to turn it over to Lane.
I'll be back.
I'll be back in the next inning.
You know damn well Uke would have done it. He 100% would have done it.
Probably he would have been there. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just it's a super interesting kind of phenomenon that it's something that, yeah, you can overthink it, but really it's just kids having fun and doing something in the ballpark.
Didn't Eric Thames take his shirt off in the playoff game that you and I went to? He did a tarps off thing to get the crowd going right in the beginning.
Yes, he did.
There's a guy.
I mean, buttons went flying everywhere.
He can take his shirt off wherever he wants.
Yeah, I don't even think he needs to rip it off. I think
Filthy ripped.
It just falls off.
Who at Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is most likely to lead a tarps off movement?
Okay.
Per the 414.
If you don't know the answer to this.
Yeah, I think we do. Let's save it.
Okay.
And say who we think it will be when we get back. Plus the most electrifying sound of the day. Miz picks things up and puts them down. He throws hard. That's what he does. And he did it numerous times yesterday, connecting for a strikeout for a record-setting day, at least a tied record for him, most strikeouts in the game. We'll hear his 12th strikeout when we get back. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
2-2. Struck him out. He's got a dozen. Ties a career high for Jacob Mizorowski and leads to an ovation. We are witnessing brilliance right in front of our eyes.
And that was The Miz getting his 12th strikeout of the game yesterday against the Cardinals, call courtesy of Jeff Levering and Brewers TV. And that was the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Electric stuff continuing from The Miz. At this point, it's becoming an expectation.
And he's not on rental. Like, this is actually our guy.
Yeah.
Which is not something we're completely used to. Would you knock on wood for that?
Well, because you never know. You never know. Just keep it going.
Well, but we have to be prepared for him not to be a Brewer long term. We know this.
Of course.
But right now, he's our guy. We don't have to rent him. And he's absolutely dealing.
Does it not feel like he's way further along than we thought he would be?
100%. It's because he's controlled. And Vinny did an awesome job, I think it was last week, showing us the difference in his delivery. I didn't expect him to be like this, nor did anybody that watched him pitch last year. There was even conversation, remember, Josh, he was going to come out of the pen.
Yeah, not knowing if he was going to be able to go that long into games. I mean, he's getting up there near 100 pitches. I think 101 is his most thrown this year, but 7 full innings. I mean, killing it, dealing last night. Awesome.
I believe he was a few pitches away from what could have been an immaculate inning to start the game. Just a ground out, unfortunately, by the 3-hitter. He had a no-no going for quite some time, too, then gave up 2 back-to-back hits, but struck out 12 per the most electrifying sound of the day, and then got some help from Aaron Ashby. The pitching has been good. It's the bats that seem to go up and down that seems to be the problem. So if the Brewers are going to go all in, do you pick a different pitcher? Do you go and get a bat? The Miz is dealing, but what does it mean to actually push this time of year for the Brewers? There's a lot of opinion. We had a little bit of a conversation on this while you were out. It might be a part of my Take Back Tuesday on Inside Wisconsin Sports. I had a theory as to what I thought was going to be an all-in scenario for the Brewers, and it very much surprised me. The more we kind of broke it down, I was like, golly, is that it? Like, maybe we just bring up people from the farm system?
Maybe. That's what we've been waiting for.
But then you watch how Sproat pitched, and then you watch Gasser, and you go, or pitching, maybe pitching.
And then it goes back and forth. However, you also know that there are guys that are making their way back from injury that were going to fill any of those holes anyway.
But look at how Miz is pitching and then go, okay, what if we had 2 of them?
Right. Does that just blow it all up?
I think so.
It'll be interesting to talk about.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. So let's button up, pun intended, this idea of tarps off. Who here at the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network would do it, number one, like actually go, okay, I'm doing this. But number 2, who would get the biggest reaction?
Yeah, they are not the same person, by the way.
They might be the same person.
Oh,
I know who you're thinking of. Who do you think would actually do it?
Mitch. Thunder
100%. Yep.
Thunder is the guy. It's not even close.
He's not the only one, though. Kuhn would totally do this.
Yes, but you're right. Kuhn would. Thunder would be the first person in line to do it.
Thunder's probably already done it.
That's a great point. I would love to see Sparky do it. I think seeing Spark up there would be incredible.
I think Tommy would do it before Sparky.
I agree. I don't think that Sparky would be lining up to go do it at all, but it would be awesome to see Sparky up there doing it.
Would you do it?
I'd probably do it if Sparky went and did it.
What if we all took turns? Like, which game you got? All right, I'll go tarps off tonight. What about you? I got tomorrow night.
What about if we all went and did it, got booed?
Oh, God. We would.
Who the hell are you guys? Boo! Get out of here.
Should.
Put your shirt on.
Yeah, way to ruin it, guys.
I take mine off. People got to put extra sunglasses on. What the hell is that?
Slightly pasty. 100% chance Mitch would be the first one to do this, but I do think this is right up Coon's alley too.
Yeah, I could definitely see Coon. That's good.
Now,
still would love
add
to see
in
Sparky.
a chugging contest.
Oh, well then it's over. Yeah, then it's
I'm there
Coon for sure.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Oh, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can do that too.
But is that a thing? Should we start that right now? It's pretty innocent.
Yeah, because half of them probably can't drink.
Exactly. Well, more than half of them.
Right.
I bet you the average age of the tarps off crowd is 14.
Oh, I think it's a little older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do some research. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Who is the big swing to make the push? We'll see. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
And scoring position for Contreras and ground ball to the left side. It'll sneak through. Turio around third. The throw home from Torres is offline. The Brewers with another first inning run. 2-2. Fly ball left center. It's clipped. It is back. It is gone. Christian Yelich exit stage left. Liner, shallow left center. Scott can't get it. Vaughn scores. It's 4-1 on the base hit by Mitchell. Fly ball down the left field line. This is towards the corner, down, and it will hop over the fence for an automatic double. It costs the Brewers a run, but they cash in on one of them on the double by Vaughn. Burleson pops it up. That is in play. Who wants it? Rengifo calls. And Brewers take game one against St. Louis. Miz, brilliant. And a 5-1 win against St. Louis on Memorial Day.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. I was sitting there staring at me. Got him on the radio, bud. Need you. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That audio powered by Brewers TV. Our guy Jeff Levering. On a good one yesterday. The Miz is brilliant.
He is brilliant.
Oh, welcome in. 7 inning pitched, 12 strikeouts. I mean, that's ties his record for most in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got 1,942 of those on the season. I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah, and he kept throwing heat. That's the other thing, too. It's like when they start breaking down the numbers of just how many pitches above 100 he's throwing, he's not falling off.
Listen to what he said after the game when he was asked about this very thing. He said, the question was, you've got an absurd amount of pitches above 100, big time numbers. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, that's what I do. I throw hard. So
that's what I do. I throw hard.
He's not wrong.
Well, he's not, but he also is not giving himself enough credit because he's got some other pitches in the arsenal now that are making dudes look silly.
Yeah.
When you throw 104 and then back that up with a 97-mile-an-hour slider that looks like it's going to be a 104-mile-an-hour fastball, you are screwed.
Yeah.
If you're trying to hit that. Which leads us to the conversation. Okay, he's great. And somebody at some point is going to be able to catch up. We know this. We watched it in last year's All-Star game. The best of the best will be able to hit the Miz. And we'll be able to count on him to continue to do these things. But what else? If this is really going to be a thing, if the Brewers are really going to make a push, what is the move that they have to make? Not should they make, but they have to make. Time for the Malott Meats Morning Mind-Up.
I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Just like tenderloins were on sale for Mother's Day, WisconsinMeatMarket.com, and our friends at Malott Meats have made all ribeyes 10% off for Father's Day. Between now and Father's Day, head to WisconsinMeatMarket.com and have high-quality ribeyes at a fair price, and then 10% off of that delivered right to your door for Father's Day. To learn more, head there now and experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats at WisconsinMeatMarket.com. That you have to do. You have to get a ribeye on the grill for Father's Day. That's required.
You got to do it.
But you also, if you're the Brewers, probably have to do something to go all in if indeed this would be the year for the push. And the push is CC Sabathia. That's what everybody compares the Brewers push to be. And if you were to ask most Brewers fans, that is the only time that the significant push has happened in franchise history. Now,
I mean, at least at the trade deadline, right? Like, I think it was a huge deal when they went and got Greinke, but that was an off-season
for a push though, we're doing this thing into the playoffs and we need some guy to really push us through, right?
Right. The mid-season acquisition. Yeah.
You mentioned in our prep that Arnold is potentially going to push things further. You mentioned that there's a rumor swirling.
Yeah, there have been a lot of rumors going around that this might be it. This might be the time, which we haven't really seen Arnold do as much as we did like Doug Melvin, right? Like dealing Doug Melvin, that was the thing. He was gonna take those risks. He was gonna take a little bit more of that chance. The Brewers have been a very good baseball organization, sticking with what they have. We've used the excuse a lot over the last couple of years of, yeah, we didn't get anyone at the trade deadline, but we got this person a little before. So that was the big move. Or saying, yeah, we didn't get anyone at the trade deadline, but we got this guy back from injury, which is just as good, if not better, than them going and getting a piece and trading away part of the farm system. So it's why this is an interesting conversation, because if these rumors are true and Arnold was to package some of these prospects and take a chance and really make it about this year, what would we even want that to look like? What do we want that to be? It's more than just the Miz, right? Like, we got a few studs pitching in the starting rotation right now, right? Harrison, Henderson, these guys are doing pretty darn well. We know that we have Priester, hopefully Woody coming back. We have these guys waiting in the wings. So is going and getting an elite starting pitcher the move, or is it focusing on the offensive side of the ball? Okay, if you're looking at the lineup, yeah, obviously you can look at Joey Ortiz. You can look at a Rengifo, problems at third. You know, how long throughout the season have we talked about the left side of the infield and needing to get more hits out of the left side of the infield? So is that the move? Is that going to be a big enough impact? That's the question.
So when we talked about this last week, my initial was, I think the move is simply to bring up the guys that we have in our farm system, because we didn't have necessarily this glaring need for this hole to be filled. I don't know that I agree with that anymore, so we'll stay tuned. Hashtag Take Back Tuesday. Boy, pitching sure seems to be something that we can or cannot quantify outside of the Miz. Yeah, Kyle Harrison is dealing. Logan Henderson's pitching well. Brandon Sproat was doing very well, had a little bit of a blow up the other day. And obviously the Miz is who he is, but Robert Gasser is not the answer there. Will Quinn Priester be the answer? Maybe. Chad Patrick is coming out of the bullpen now. We still don't have Jared Koenig back in the lineup. But we can't lose by going and getting another big arm. The question here is, at what cost? This is going to be a rental. Whoever it is that they potentially go and get from a pitching perspective is going to be a rental. So are we willing to give up some of the names that we've worked so hard to develop in our farm system to go and get a rental pitcher and then have nothing to show for it other than a potential ring? I mean, that's not nothing.
Right. And that's it, right? If it pans out, we're going, that was the best move ever. If it doesn't, we're going, yep, worthless.
Shot ourselves in the foot.
Right. Didn't make sense. We go to the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. The 262 says, when I hear about getting a bat or a pitcher, I always ask who. Arms or bats need to be available in order to get them. And if they're available, why are they available? Well, you can answer that one. Put yourself in, flip it. Why do the Brewers trade Freddie Peraltas and Josh Haders and these type of players? Because their contracts are coming up. Because they know they're not going to be able to hold on to them. Or you look at the teams that thought that they were going to be doing very well, and they're not. They were hoping at the beginning of the year that they were going to be buyers. Turns out, trade deadline comes along. They're 15 games back in the division, and they go, we're sellers this year. Let's offload some of these contracts that only have that are either expiring or have a year left on them, and let's try to get something to rebuild, because clearly what we're doing right now isn't working. The thing is that's why it's not always set in stone, and we don't know who's going to be available, because part of it is figuring out what teams are going to suck. And then those guys, the best of those teams, is going to become available.
There's a list, though, of names that are out there already just based on where those teams are at. The leader in the clubhouse, although third on the list that I put together, is Skubal.
Mm-hmm.
That started to come out last week from the Tigers. They're 21-33, and he's not exactly at his peak. He's got some things going on with his elbow. He's the best arm if he's available, but is he available? Question mark. And the price that we would have to pay Tarek Skubal, who's making $32 million in a year of arbitration.
Yeah.
He won a $32 million arbitration deal. Can the Brewers even afford to rent him?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. They can. Would they be willing to? That's the question. And I don't know that they would take that risk. It's just not what the Brewers have done, is go and get, that type of guy and take that big of a risk. My bigger thing still is the pitcher what we're looking for? I feel like I'm more confident in if there's a third baseman that's lighting it up on a different team, hitting
over
well.
The guys that we have in the farm system?
Yeah, because I don't feel like the farm system there isn't anyone right now that would be ready to be called up that is calling it lights out enough to where I bring them up and I go, boom, ready to go. Right? Like, that was why it was like, even if you bring those guys up, your expectations for them, especially this year, have to be pretty low. Maybe next year, then they come on their own. But tell me the last time that a guy got brought up and then with 3 or 4 months left in the season, it's, hey, yep, this guy's hitting 280 and completely turned things around for this team.
So do they do that now then? Because we look at the left side of the infield and Rengifo and David Hamilton, although faster than fast itself, it's not exactly been a stable area. Do you have somebody in mind, Josh, from a go get him standpoint?
I don't.
Like, who would you go get?
That's to the 262's point that, they put this up and they go, who? All right, fine. You want to do that? Then who? Who do you want to go get? Yeah, well, two things. First of all, it's not my job to do that, right? It's Matt Arnold. So I want the scouts to be the ones that make that decision and
who
do
does
that.
make your list, though? I mean, like, if you think it's bat, who would make the bat list?
I don't know. I literally don't know. I'd have to go through and see of every team at this point. I probably wouldn't even start the search yet. I would probably wait at least another couple weeks to see what teams are really in. We're going to be selling off some contract mode and then start kind of diving into that. But to your point, it's still going to be a rental. Even if it's a position player and not a pitcher, it's still going to be a rental. But I just think that we've been saying tick-tock on the left side of the infield of replacing Ortiz or replacing the combination at third base for a while, have we not? And we've started coming up with excuses of why these guys haven't been brought up, why no one has been brought up, right? Like, it's not just we're waiting for Jet Williams. It's there's no one. Like, they haven't brought up anybody.
But do we have a reason to right now?
I get it. So why mess with a good thing?
Well, you were talking about how other teams, we're not sure where they stand yet in terms of how good or bad are they. Do we know how good or when they're not good, how bad the Brewers are right now, or is it still too early? Because Murph, for a while there, hadn't used the same lineup all season.
Yeah, I think he made it like 47
Crazy.
or something. Right. Insane.
So do we even know where the Brewers peak right now and what that lineup looks like? It's taken forever to get the same guys. And look, Garrett Mitchell just had back tightness, and he couldn't play for a few games. We know that Yelly was out with what he had going on with his back. We didn't have Vaughn and Churio to start. Like, what does the ideal lineup look like for the Brewers right now? And then you go and see Joey Ortiz making plays at shortstop like he did yesterday specifically, and you're like, don't want to lose that.
Right.
At what gamble? Bryce Terang, up and down, more up than down. But imagine if we string it together with the guys that are currently in the lineup. So now, who do we need to come up and be a real difference maker? And to me, it's either the left side of the infield. We have a lot of prospects that would qualify, or a pitcher. And I mean a starting pitcher.
I think the biggest name that has the least risk is Cooper Pratt, because you already paid him. But the fact that they haven't brought him up should be more telling than not that they don't think he's ready. You already paid the guy, so there's no worries about, how it affects his contracts down the road, or, because there's some rule about when you bring him up and then blah, blah, blah. But, you don't got to worry about that with Cooper Pratt. You paid him, and you're keeping him in the minors. So there's something going on there that's having them go, yeah, it's not a better solution than what we have.
I bet it's timing. I really don't think they have a reason right now. The Brewers learned a lot last year from the Dodgers, I think. I think there's a piece of this in the regular season, especially this early, not to tip your hand. And that's wild to think about. 162 games, that's a lot. Brewers, first place. They don't really have a reason right now to show you everything they have. Not that there's not tape and all those things, but they're really just sitting here going, all right, we're good. We're good. Everything's good. We're going to get Woody back. We'll keep doing what we're doing. We're not going to win all of our series, although it sure seemed like it before the Dodgers series this past weekend. So they may or may not have a reason to bring up somebody right now to shake up the lineup.
The 920 says, if the move is to bring guys up from the minors, then we have to do it now to see if they're ready before the trade deadline, to see if we need to make a move at the deadline. So, that the 920 kind of agrees with you, Trev, of just saying, if we're going to make that move, we should make it sooner than later so that we're not stuck with it, to where we're not banking on that being the answer. And now the trade deadline is come and gone. And now you can't go get a guy. But also, once you bring him up, you're kind of exposing him, right? If you bring a guy up and they don't perform when you need him to here, you're going to lose the trade value on him too.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. It's a Take Back Tuesday on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. What do we take back from the last week? I kind of take back asking people to come and say hi to me at Celebrate the Beer. That happened a lot.
Oh, why?
Don't remember who I all saw.
Oh.
And that has nothing to do with drinking. It was just a long weekend
I love
with a
that
lot of pizza.
That.
Yeah. The fact that I have to preface that.
I know.
Thanks for the promo, by the way.
What?
What
I do? What?
You put the promos together, right, for the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Well, it was fun. It was funny.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
Does not help my cause.
Oh.
But it was funny.
Well, you can't have everything be perfect.
Will you take that back? Didn't think so. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The Brewers and the Cards continue again tonight. AmFam Field, 6:40. Day game tomorrow. And Josh, just, for you and I,
yeah,
they're off on Thursday.
They are off on Thursday.
No game on Thursday.
Okay, got it.
Houston, and then back home against the Giants. And there comes that Willie Adames.
Mm-hmm.
That some people have on a list of going, why don't we just go get Willie back if we're going to go all in? I don't even think we can afford to rent Willie Adames. And Josh said over the break, he's not doing great.
Well, and that's exactly it. There are people on Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line saying, bring Freddie home. That whole thing hasn't been working out. They might be looking to get him out of New York.
If they eat some of the cash, cool.
So, could you see that? Could you see that being?
My God, if we figured out a way to monetarily afford Freddie Peralta on a rental this year and then have to deal him again,
right? Crazy.
That would be tough.
I think that's the biggest thing. You brought it up when we were talking during the break of it's more than just going out and getting a guy or looking at why a guy's struggling now. If we were going to bring him back, like Freddie or Willie, is it the change of scenery piece too? And that's why so much of this decision has been not just the big names that the national media are talking about, but Matt Arnold goes and gets the guy you haven't heard of that the other teams throw away and then finds those diamonds in the rough. And that's been his secret sauce ever since he's been doing the job. I'm not sure that's going to change.
All right, it's a Take Back Tuesday. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. What have you done, said, did, thought that you want to take back from the last week? Some things have crossed your mind, come out of your mouth maybe, and go, ooh, maybe that was not a great take, not a good idea. Josh, what's on your list?
Yeah, what's on mine is I got to take back my thought on the Miz. When the last time he was out, everyone was kind of pushing for him to keep going. And then there was that we played the audio on the show of, Murph's response to why he pulled Miz, and then and him essentially Murph saying that Miz came to him and said, I can give you one more, and then that's it. And I immediately started going, see, this is the problem. This is the problem with these flamethrowers, is that you're asking him to do just something different and worrying. I was immediately worrying about burnout and what's the point if we can't have him go deeper into games. And then he comes out and he just is incredible. And anytime I'm seeing him go 7 is awesome, but not just 7. He had the pitch count up. He was still throwing heat. He's proving he's the unicorn. And any doubt that I had of him being able to do that, I'm taking all that back.
But it's not like you shouldn't have thought that, though. I mean, we do have a bit of a complex in regards to losing big names.
True.
And all the cramping that he had going on, and then he didn't seem like he could go farther than the 6th that one day. Just makes you go, oh, God, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Are the Brewers Miz dependent right now?
Absolutely.
No, are they?
Yeah.
From like a winning versus losing thing? Like,
yeah.
With the Miz? Really?
Yeah. With the Miz, they have a long-term shot. This team is not the same team if you don't have the Miz. I mean, if you can't rely on what he brings once every 5 or 6
well, I think
games.
you can rely on it, but that's different than being dependent on it. Are you saying that we would not be a winning team without the Miz?
I'm saying that we wouldn't be having the conversation of what big push should the Brewers make if the Miz is out.
True. We would need a totally different big push if the Miz was out.
Correct. So in that way, yeah, they're dependent on the Miz.
We were talking earlier about OTA starting this week for the Packers and what the holes look like and where we're going to get some answers potentially. What's LaFleur going to say tomorrow on a Take Back Tuesday on Inside Wisconsin Sports? I want to take back saying that I would eat crow if they win the Super Bowl.
Whoa. What's this now?
I don't see major problems with the Green Bay Packers going into this season.
Really?
I don't see these major holes. I don't see these major issues in certain rooms. I think we have a lot of answers. Are they the right answers? We'll see. But I feel like outside of who's going to really be the 2 edge rusher and who's really going to be the CB or backfield that we can depend on, which are big positions, I understand. You tell me where else you have major questions of this Green Bay Packers team, specifically when they get Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons back.
Yeah, I mean, getting healthy is huge. I still, if I were you, would look at it though. First of all, winning the Super Bowl is hard. It's very difficult.
I know.
Okay. That's anytime someone's like, well, it should be a championship or bust. Okay. Well, just know that 98% of the time it's going to be bust. Like, that's just how sports work. But on top of that, if you're right, yeah, you got to eat a little crow, but it means that we're celebrating a Super Bowl victory,
but
man.
It's literal crow.
Well, yeah, but still.
That's my point. Like,
you can be doing it wearing a Super Bowl champion t-shirt.
Yeah, well, wait until you hear. Let's just hypothetically say this happens.
Tarps are off. Tarps are off.
Tarps are off, all right, because I have a gag reflex that will make you want to shut the radio off. So that's all I can get in my head.
I don't remember if this happened. Was it on air? You said you'd eat it on air. Oh, good.
Yeah, there will be a chef in this very room.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
cooking it.
Dump button ready to go.
I take that back so bad. It would be different, I think, if I looked at the Packers and was like, oh, geez, Brad from the 414 said the concerns are still the coaching staff. Offensive line depth, kind of. Field goal kicking, they seem to have fixed that, they think. I mean, these are normal things that football teams are up against. Mm-hmm. Coaching decisions, offensive line depth. Like, sure, a kicker needs to make his kicks. But I look at the team and go, oh, boy. Pretty put together. So I just I don't eat crow.
Yeah, I think that Brad makes a good point though. And it's funny how quickly we're emotional about something and then just forget about it altogether. At the end of last season, I mean, even before the end of last season, you and I both were kind of in the boat of Matt LaFleur is not the answer. And
that's where this whole crow thing came from. I said, I will eat crow if this team with this coaching staff and specifically this head coach go and win the Super Bowl. I'm glad Brad brought that up because it makes me feel a little bit better.
That's what I'm saying. If you're ready to take that back on a Take Back Tuesday, you're now saying that you have faith in Matt LaFleur. And where did that come from? Where did you find the box of faith?
The roster.
Yeah, but it's still Matt LaFleur.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you right now, based on the roster and the lack of holes and the bodies coming back, even with Matt LaFleur, I'm nervous.
But in a good way.
Nervous.
Come on.
In a great way.
Yeah.
In a great way. This would be a great problem to have.
Listen,
but it's the first time over the weekend where I went, oh boy.
I think it's totally worth it for you to eat crow for a Super Bowl victory, personally. Totally agree with that decision by you.
To eat?
Yeah, for you to eat crow.
How about drinking a whole bottle of Old Crow in one day, but obviously not in the air? What's that?
I believe it's alcohol.
I don't drink.
Oh. Oh, okay. People listening to the show for the first time are probably like, oh, all right.
What's wrong with this?
One of these guys is
well, I'm not done with my take backs yet. Go ahead. Want me to go again?
No,
I've got more.
Go ahead. I want to hear this one. This is a good setup.
I take back asking people to come and say hi to me at Celebrate the Pier this past weekend.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with drinking. It was loud. The music was really loud. It was awesome. And you can't really hear. One person in particular, late-ish on Saturday or Sunday night, don't know which night, came up and said, shut up. Came up and said, he introduced himself.
Yes.
Introduced himself.
Uh-huh.
I popped out of my chair. Hey, good to meet you. And I said, how'd you hear about it? Meaning, how'd you hear about the show? And he goes, well, you told people to come and say hi. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm good with the words. That's not what I meant. How'd you hear about the show?
He goes, because I heard you.
Well, but it's just one of those things where I don't know where you're from or where you listen and how you listen, or are you on an app someplace? Do you listen on the actual radio? Are you streaming us online? Do you watch us on YouTube like so many apparently do?
Hey, it's better than, them saying, yeah, I saw a sign at the local bar that said, have you seen this man?
Valid. There's that.
You know,
me out of the lineup. Great. No, it was great. It was so nice to see so many people that did stop and say hi. JB in the 920 texted in earlier and had great things to say about the weekend. Hoped it went well. It did. It was an awesome weekend. I feel bad when I can't sit and have a conversation, right? So I maybe I wish I would have been like, hey, come see me at this happy hour. Damn it. It does all revolve. Okay, never mind. What about you?
Listen, I don't understand why it's such a bad thing, though. You think
it wasn't a bad
like
thing.
We live in Wisconsin. Like it's
the drinking thing?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I'm playing this up. I'm not worried about this at all.
Like I would have been all about it. Like, yeah, let's go have a party.
Just loud. I'm getting old.
Yeah, the take back that I've had recently is the Brewers have been having a lot of fun at home, and I had some buddies in group chats that have been going to some of these games lately, and I'm mad I haven't tagged along and been to see some of these live. I have not been at enough Brewer games this year. I think the last one I was at was that Friday or Saturday game when I went with the whole fam. And we tried all the food. And
do you go to a lot?
Wisco. I usually have gone to a lot more than I have and just gotten out, even if it was just with one buddy, not make it a big event. I sit in the 438 section or stand the whole time. Who cares? Just to be there and see the team, because it is a different atmosphere. And I have not been able to get there.
On average, how many? 10?
Probably 10 to 15.
More even.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I make it more than 5. If I hit 5 games, that's a lot, not including playoffs.
Sure. But it's a little bit more of a commitment for you. You can't just say, hey, I'm free on Friday. What are you doing? You want to go to the game?
I mean, I can. It just comes. I don't, man, I sound old today, but I just don't like driving late at night anymore. So that drive, I'd rather stay down there.
Right.
Than drive back. What's an hour and 45 minutes? And I don't know about you, dude, but when my whole crew is sleeping in my vehicle and I'm not, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's tough. You want to snooze
well
too?
Nighttime driving.
I mean, everyone though. You don't have like a co-pilot that stays awake with you.
Amanda says she co-pilots.
Oh,
she does a pretty decent job until I look over there and I'm like, so much for that. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, right. Especially once you hear that seat recline a little bit, you're like, all right,
yeah,
that's game over.
Game over. Yep. By myself. I have more.
Oh my God, what happened?
Nothing. I just took some time to reflect is all.
No, that's good.
I'm sorry about complaining about the weather.
Why?
I take it back because I hate hot.
Yeah.
That's why. I would much rather have it be in the 50s and 60s than the 80s and 90s.
Okay. But that's not why we complained about the weather.
We did ask for it to like, hey, summer, where you at? What are you doing? Hi, how are you? Welcome. Memorial Day hit and boom.
But we also complained about all the rain and the wind storms, and it was a pretty weird spring, was it not? Also, can we just say, I know it's not like, according to meteorologists, the official start of summer, but summer's here, right? I've always looked at summer as Memorial Day to Labor Day.
It's because the weather flips like a switch. The same is true for Labor Day. End of the summer, it shouldn't get that cold that fast. I just got an FU from Amanda via text. That's awesome. Sweet. Good morning, babe.
Hey, afterwards, just go grab a drink, calm down. You'll be fine.
FU. That's funny. Do you have any more, or are you just an angel boy over there today?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good this week, which is great because usually I have a ton of regret and worries and things. A lot of my regret and worry have come with this Brewers baseball team, and they've been doing great. Even like I said, even the loss to the Dodgers, losing that series, I'm absolutely okay with that. I didn't necessarily love the way we lost, but I feel like if a team's truly going to make it, you got to have some wake-up calls in there too. It can't just be all fun and games, because then when the time comes and the rubber meets the road, yeah, then you get shown up a little bit. And so I'd rather have those wake-up calls happen now when this team can still make the moves it needs to. It puts a little bit of pressure on these guys that aren't performing as well as they could.
I have 3 more. So I'll share those with you when we get back.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, I have a list of 6 today. Had a bit of a reflective weekend. Let's say
Wow.
that.
That's great.
I would like it if other people had some, but apparently it's just me today. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line.
I have one more that I didn't know if I was going to share. Well, technically I have 2. I have one more that I didn't know if I was going to share, but I will share it on the other side.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Jeez. Not the case. Block that person. My God.
The Queen of Spice is heating up breakfast at Wendy's with new items like their jalapeno sausage, egg and cheese biscuit, jalapeno bacon, egg and cheese biscuit, and a spicy side twist of jalapeno bacon seasoned potatoes. Available for a limited time, so get a bite while you can and spice up your morning at Wendy's.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. To the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line we go, 414-677-1250. Bob in Grafton has a take back on a Take Back Tuesday. Bob, what's up, man? What are you taking back?
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
How we doing?
Well, early last week, I was in Whitefish Bay at the Target at like 7 a.m. in the morning and found myself in the same aisle as Giannis.
Lucky.
And so I sort of geeked out, and I was in my mind, I was like, do I say hi to him? Do I not? He's probably gone. This is my last chance. I'm a lifetime Bucks fan. Never met him before. So I went up to him and said hi, and it did not go well. He looked so annoyed at me, and I was like, yeah, I should not have done that.
Tell me more. What happened?
Yeah. What'd he say?
I was like, hey, thanks for everything you've done in Milwaukee. And I dapped him up, and he just looked at me so annoyed, didn't say a word to me. And I don't know if you ever watched Saturday Night Live, that Chris Farley skit where he like interviews like the guys from the Beatles and he says something stupid afterwards. That's how I felt. I was like, idiot. And I was walking around Target talking to myself like, man, I am so dumb. Why did I do that?
Okay.
Oh, man. I don't know if you got to take that. That's first off, that sucks. Sorry that happened to you.
Right. That's the big thing.
Hey, I met him though, so that's cool.
You did meet him. I think the thing is that you would have probably been calling with a Take Back Tuesday if you wouldn't have, saying, I regret not saying something.
I don't know. But I remember like the week before someone saw him at like the zoo and took a picture of him and put it on Instagram and was like, I was going to go say hi to you, but I decided to respect you. And he like reposted it and was like, thank you or something like that. So I had that going on in my mind too. But I was like, man, this is a once in a lifetime chance to say hi to him. But it didn't go well. In my mind, I thought it would go way, way, way better.
They say never meet your heroes, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
no
buddy.
worries, guys.
That's rough.
Bob, thanks for the buzz, man.
Thanks, Bob.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line.
You got one there, Trev?
No, I'm out. I'm fresh out, actually. We don't have any more time.
No, that's not true. We got a little bit more time. Go ahead.
You think you're making promos of me talking about drinking, bud. Buckle in. Here you go.
Oh, okay.
I take back defending Shams Charania.
What just happened? What?
Dude, that report that we played earlier in the show in the Let's Play Catch-Up portion.
Stop the show.
He's fumbling on himself now. And it's not that he hasn't done that in the past, but when you have nothing to report, that's what it sounds like.
I need someone to slap me. Is this real? Is this real life? Yes. Preach. Hallelujah. 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 This is exactly what I've been saying. That's the problem with Shams. There's no news here. He's doing it because ESPN's saying, hey, we get clicks when you say something. Go say something. He has nothing to say. There's nothing to say.
That doesn't mean what he's saying is false. It just means that currently it's on repeat.
Right. Which the thing is that if you keep saying the same narrative over and over and over and over again because there's nothing new to say, and then that ends up not being the thing that happens, then you're going to get judged for it. If you say it once and then it doesn't happen, it's okay, well, things change. But if you keep banging that drum, yeah, that'll happen.
It's gotten old to this point. And I'm sure for you, it's gotten old a lot before this point.
Yes, very much so.
But the piece he had over the weekend, and we played a little clip from it this morning, it's just he's literally saying the exact same thing about the situation.
Over and over.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, well, Jimmy Haslam came out and said we're either going to trade him or sign him in June. Yeah, no, Sherlock, we got that part.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. This is such growth. This is great. I think we can all agree that this is good. This is progress. I'm proud of you.
There's the end of your promo right there.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you. That was great. All right, you want one for me? I'll give you one.
Please.
So I trusted my 9-year-old when I shouldn't have.
Pause.
And the worst part is it's absolutely not his fault. We were leaving the airport yesterday, or going to the airport and getting to go to our flight, and we had all the luggage and everything. and I had asked the 9-year-old to hold my CPAP because I'm dealing with the baby and a bunch of other things. And then we go and I'm breaking down the stroller and we get on the plane and we're literally on the plane as it's about to take off. And it hit me and I went, we don't have my CPAP. And of course he felt awful, but like I shouldn't have put that on him, that it was like his job to be responsible for that. Even if it was him carrying it, it's still my job to make sure he's carrying it. And so I felt awful that one, in the moment, I freaked out, not yelled at him, but freaked out because it was gone. And then he felt bad. And two, the fact that I didn't just take care of it myself. So now, on top of getting home super late last night, I didn't have my CPAP, slept like crap. And now I got to scramble today to figure it out. Definitely would love to take back not paying enough attention and making sure I had all of our luggage. Because that was a bad one to leave behind.
We call it the circle back. Did you circle back with Jordy and let him know that it wasn't his fault?
Oh, yeah. Like 4 times.
Well,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I was like, listen, this is all on Dad. Dad was dumb. He shouldn't even have put you in that position to begin with. Like it's not your fault. I appreciate all the help you did on the trip, bud.
The 353. Thank you. Exactly. Warm weather is overrated. Hot, humid. Don't like it. No lake breeze in La Crosse. I feel your pain there.
Love a good breeze.
Hate hot. Hate hot. The top of the hour. And Coach Joe Thomas. What was all that about with him being in Green Bay? And Josh Maurer of the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network joins us around 8:30 this morning. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
In scoring position for Contreras and ground ball to the left side. It'll sneak through. Churio around third. The throw home from Torres is offline. The Brewers with another first inning run. 2-2. Fly ball left center. It's clipped. It is back. It is gone. Christian Yelich exits stage left. Liner, shallow left center. Scott can't get it. Vaughn scores. It's 4-1 on the base hit by Mitchell. Fly ball down the left field line. This is towards the corner. Down. And it will hop over the fence for an automatic double. It costs the Brewers a run, but they cash in on one of them on the double by Vaughn. Burleson pops it up. That is in play. Who wants it? Rengifo calls. The Brewers take game one against St. Louis. Miz, brilliant. And a 5-1 win against St. Louis on Memorial Day.
I like talking much more about that than I do the Dodgers series. But, hey, you know what? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That win mattered.
That win mattered. Audio courtesy of Jeff Levering, Brewers TV. A big dub for Milwaukee yesterday at AmFam Field, 5-1. Again tonight against the Cards. Day game tomorrow, and then off on Thursday. Saying that for us just as much as I am for you.
Yes, absolutely.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Hour 3. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And Packers football was powered by someone different this past week. In case you missed it, Joe Thomas was in Green Bay chatting with the offensive line and also spent some time with Tucker Kraft. WISN talked to him, Channel 12, our friend Dario Melendez and crew down there. Had a bit that hit the internet that just said, you got a call from Matt LaFleur, and he wanted to make the trip up and see what he could do to offer in terms of advice or time or feedback or whatever the case may be. My question here is, who else is on that list?
Ooh.
Who else is on the list of Wisconsin football fame that if we could just get on the ones and twos and have them show back up in Green Bay, who do we advice is abound. Opinions are aplenty. But if we were going to take advice and listen to opinions from blank, who would it be?
I thought someone that would probably be a good person to have stop by might be a guy you can hear from on this very radio station. Might be good from noon to 2. And we got a brand new kicker that apparently isn't going to have a lot of kicking competition in camp. Might not be a bad idea to have the all-time leading scorer in Packers history stop by and give him some advice, talk to him a little bit, have Mason Crosby show up.
I think that's a very good recommendation.
Thank you.
Why don't they do more of this?
So this is when we were prepping for this, and I was going, all right, how did we think this all came together? I don't know that the call to Joe Thomas started with that. I think there was something outside of the team. Maybe it was just a, hey, how you doing, catch up conversation that led to, it'd be really awesome if you stop by. You should stop by, talk to some of these guys. I think that'd do them a lot of good. Yeah, I could do that. Sure, when would be a good time? I'll stop. I kind of see it more that way than Matt LaFleur going through a little black book and going, all right. You know what? If Joe Thomas is available, I think that'd really help. If I could get him to come out, I'm going to give him a call. I don't think it was like the main motive of that. I could be wrong. I have nothing to back this up. I just think that it seems like it's a little out of left field if that was the case.
He looks good with a Packers G on his chest, I can tell you that.
Well, that's certainly true.
So who else? Mason Crosby's a good one. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. If we were going to tap into the football gods of the past, here in Wisconsin. Maybe they played for Wisconsin. Maybe they're Packers from the past that we would love to have come back.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about J.J. Watt?
Yep, he was going to be the next one I brought up. Yeah.
Why not? Why would we not, especially where we're at with the defensive line and specifically edge rushers, and even more so with Lucas Van Ness?
Yeah, unless
who
there's
has
like
showed really good potential. You just got to stay healthy.
Unless there's like some bad blood there. The relationship's not great.
So I wondered that some of these guys are a little too close to their playing time, right? And he had come out and talked about how the Packers didn't even make an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe more time has to pass in order for someone like him.
What about A.J. Hawk?
That would be a good person to have from a linebacker situation. I think he leads the team all time in tackles.
Mm-hmm. That could be one that you could throw in that ring. That I mean, obviously his playing career is long enough away to where you'd think any emotional side. Plus, there was no really bad blood, I don't think, there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that would probably be one.
John Kuhn mentioned last week that he was at an event that I had happened to find out about with Clay Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Claymaker?
Yep. Yeah, Clay would be good. I think it's interesting, the idea in general of having these, make an appearance guys. Like we saw Kevin Garnett would be just showing up at practices once in a while to like work with Giannis. And it was like, he wasn't part of the team. He wasn't on staff. It was just like, yeah, hey, huge shout out to Kevin Garnett who stopped by the Bucks practice facility today. Here's a 10-second video of him, posting up with Giannis. And you go, oh, that's weird. Isn't that weird? Why is he there? I think it's just interesting in general how these guys just kind of can make appearances.
But from the story perspective, and specifically from Wisconsin, is there something to, let's say, a Charles Woodson coming back and talking about what it means to be a Green Bay Packer during a time like this? Here's a guy that we didn't think was going to sign in Green Bay. Him coming here was huge news to begin with, let alone winning a Super Bowl here. And the speech he gave at halftime after breaking his collarbone, that goes back eons of record books. Those will be, I think the speech is in the Packers Hall of Fame, or at least parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that teams benefit from that? I know that the Packers, and Ron Wolf said it best, play up the tradition of Green Bay as well as anybody because it's the best that there is. Does that work? Like, what would motivate those guys more than just wash, rinse, repeat, to have a guy like Joe Thomas from Wisconsin be with a guy like Tucker Kraft, South Dakota? Like, those boys speak the same language.
And you got to remember, too, this wasn't a conversation where it was like Matt LaFleur's having a conversation with Joe Thomas and goes, yeah, you know what? Like, it'd be pretty great if you came and you talked to the rookies, and you lay down like, hey, welcome. Let me tell you about this organization, blah, blah, blah. You playing for the whole state of Wisconsin. That's not what this was. This was Joe Thomas coming and talking to Tucker Kraft, who's already kind of solidified his name within this organization as a huge part of this team. This was not all right, coach. Yeah, I'll come talk to the kids for you. I'll come. That wasn't what this is. So to your point, does that to me is way different in terms of what you're looking for from impact than if you have Donald Driver come and talk to the rookies and say, I played my entire career here. Having that G on your helmet means something. You got to give it everything you got every single day because that's what this organization expects, blah, 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 blah. This is like a one-on-one with a Hall of Famer, with a guy who has the potential to really do some damage in this league. It's a completely different situation.
The idea, too, that college players are coming into the NFL, at least at a rookie level, with far more sports business acumen is maybe the best way to put it, which means they may not give the G and the Packers and the organization and the tradition the weight it deserves because to them it's a job.
Sure.
Talking them coming out of college. Like we have to talk them into leaving college to pursue a career in the NFL. So to them, it might be a paycheck. And if that's the case, then I think the Packers lose something here because there was something to be said about playing for Green Bay and living in Green Bay and being a part of the tradition in Green Bay. But if you, an unloyal college athlete, don't see value in that, well, now we're up against something. So the idea of those coming back that did see value in that and helping double and triple down makes a lot of sense. Joe Thomas could speak to that, even though he played his entire career in Cleveland. The guy grew up Wisconsin, and anybody that grew up in Wisconsin that played football wanted one of two things, if not both. I want to be a Wisconsin Badger, and I want to play for the Green Bay Packers. Mark Tauscher did that better than anyone ever. And look at a guy like J.J. Watt, who was upset that the Packers didn't make an offer.
Yeah, I think there's the scenario that actually played out with Joe Thomas and Tucker Kraft is when it works. You have a guy that is already proven that he is not just on the roster, but a star on the roster. Now having conversations with a Hall of Famer that kind of proves like, yeah, this is where you are, kid, but let's make sure you get to that next level because you need it and the team needs it. I think that's a completely different situation than the welcome rookies, Green Bay's great conversation. And so I think that like those type of ones work. That's why I brought up specifically like the Mason Crosby one. Like that's a one-on-one conversation. I'm not having Mason go and talk to the whole team. I'm having Mason talk to the kicker, specifically to Smack. Like that specific is the conversation. I think the one-on-ones go a lot further than the group presentations in this case.
So from an ego standpoint, then, why don't we do more of that? That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Hey, maybe we get Mason back in the building and have a conversation. The guy knows how to kick at Lambeau Field better than anybody, especially the newer Lambeau Field, not the Lambeau Field that Chris Jackie kicked in. That's different.
Right.
Wind is different.
Yeah, it's a good point, especially early on, right? Like you don't necessarily need a guy to come in and talk to him when they're going through it. Like think about that too, how many times you've talked to athletes and they're like completely dialed in a completely different world once the season starts. Like this time hearing the story of Joe Thomas talking to Tucker Kraft, like it was perfect. The two people involved were perfect. The timing's perfect. Like wouldn't you feel a little bit more weird about it if this report comes out in November and it's I think so. Joe Thomas came and talked to Tucker Kraft. You're going, why? What's wrong with Tucker Kraft? What was happening? What completely different. You hear about it in the middle of the summer or start of the summer, I guess I should say. And you go, oh, nice. That's great. I bet that really helped him. That's good. That's good all around. So timing is a part of it too.
Are politics a thing with this?
I'm sure. It has to be the relationship, right? Like the former player has to get the invite. So it has to be in some way, someone has to, extend that invitation. And like I said, I don't think it's out of the blue. I think there has to be some type of relationship, a call for a different reason that started it, that then leads to the, hey, I think it'd be cool if you talk to this guy, by the way, too. So I don't think it's a call out of the blue where Matt LaFleur is going, hey, Clay, I'd love for you to come talk to Lucas Van Ness. What do you got going on in 3 weeks? Can I pencil you in? I don't think that's how that conversation goes.
The 414 says, how about Driver talking to the wide receivers? He's the all-time Packers leader in catches still, right? Or Leroy talking to the young DBs and the safeties. So I think this has a bit of a chasm as well. I think that a guy like Joe Thomas, who never put on a Packers uniform, showing up to talk to Tucker Kraft is different than somebody like Leroy Butler, who I love dearly, and he's very, very, very visible.
Yes.
I think it goes farther when it's the guys that aren't super visible. And I feel like from a fan perspective, it probably makes us feel like it's worth more if a guy randomly like Joe Thomas shows up and you're like, whoa, hey. Or did you see Charles Woodson was at practice the other day? Like catch us off guard type of stuff. Everybody would expect to see Leroy Butler.
Right. If it'd be like, hey, there's Leroy. Hey, Leroy. Like it would have been like saying hi to a neighbor. I think that to what we've been talking about, though, kind of going against the 414's point here, the impact of why they're doing it changes. If Driver comes and he's talking to the wide receivers, Is that hitting home as much as if he's specifically there to talk to Christian Watson? And he's having a one-on-one with Watson to try to really say, listen, kid.
Or Matthew Golden in this case.
Or I mean, take your pick, but like a one-on-one of saying, like, you have the opportunity to take this to the next level, not just hey, you're a Green Bay Packer. I was my whole career. Like, it's not bring your parent to work day. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know. I just feel like that's a little bit different.
That's kind of part of the conversation, though. Where does that start and stop? Because having names come in to address versus seeing Joe Thomas one-on-one with Tucker Kraft. Like, if we knew that Joe Thomas, who did talk to the offensive line, was spending time with the offensive line and in their room, just to a tip of the trade, does the ego thing come in with the offensive line coach? Do we not like it when players do this? What are the pros and cons? I'm not personally sure, but on the flip side, as a fan, I love to see it.
Right. As a fan, there's no egos involved. So it's easier. Bob in Minneapolis says, how good is your coaching staff when you need to bring in ex-players? Just asking. I mean, that's that thought process. I'm not saying he's right, but I'm saying that thought process is exactly the problem. If there are people like Bob saying, I don't understand, why do we have to bring in Joe Thomas? Do they not feel like coach is good enough? Why do I have to listen to Joe Thomas instead of, like, if those questions are swirling, then the idea of bringing in a guy like Joe Thomas doesn't work. That's why I think the one-on-ones work better.
I also think there's a difference, Bob, between need to and want to. Like, do we need to bring in Mason Crosby? No. Would we want to bring in Mason Crosby?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Especially for a rookie kicker that's never kicked in the NFL at all, to have a one-on-one with him and go, all right, man, here's what you're up against. Let me tell you all about what I know. That's a huge benefit, regardless of what Cam Akers can give or not.
Zach in Green Bay says, any savvy business realizes sometimes you need to bring in a consultant at times to bring things to the next level. This is the sports parallel of that. Yeah.
That's
right.
A good point.
So that brings up a different question. Do you think that these are needed? Not that we'd want, but you said the difference between want and need. You talked about, you don't think there are holes. You're worried you might actually have to eat crow.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think there's a need in any way, shape, or form with any of these players to bring a guy in and go, you know what? I think this guy or this room, they need to hear from a Hall of Famer.
I have one.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the room. It's more about an office. Tell me this coaching staff would not benefit from having a guy like Mike Holmgren come in and sit down. Here's what it looks like to win and win well and big in Green Bay. He's outside of the Lombardi era Packers, the guy went to 2 Super Bowls back to back. I understand it didn't necessarily end well with him wanting to be the GM and the head coach, and that's why he went to Seattle and blah, 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 but that was a long time ago. I think we could learn a thing or two from him, but that, my friends, is, I think, where ego starts and stops.
Yeah, right. Because if you're Matt LaFleur, you're going, okay, who invited him? Who thought, you know what? Maybe Matt needs to hear from a different coach. And also, as you said, it's ego. Can you eat some humble pie and just embrace it and take it in for what it is? And
don't you think at some point that makes you look better?
If you do just humbly accept, of course. But egos prevent that all the time. All the time.
Zero ego in our guy, Josh Mauer, the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network. He's the color commentary and also the play-by-play and the pregame and the postgame. The guy knows more about the farm system than anybody else in the Brewers organization outside of Matt Arnold. What does he think about what it looks like for the Brewers to go all in? And we'll review the weekend with him as well. Josh Mauer of the Brewers Radio Network joins us next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wait, so you just said you don't have a CPAP? I can't sleep without my CPAP.
Well, I mean, I can. It's just not good sleep.
Slightly dangerous.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you wake up doing the?
No, but I will say I woke up in like a straight panic when my first alarm went off.
Yeah.
Like it was like I always try to make sure I turn the alarm off early to not wake Julie or the rest of the house. But like this was like it was on for 0.1 second. Like it was off. And I just woke up like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, your I'm awake text this morning was much earlier than normal.
Mm-hmm.
I thought something like, did he go to sleep? I know he's coming back. How was Florida? We didn't even talk about this quick. Josh Mauer, by the way, joining us at the bottom of the hour here from the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network. How was your trip?
Dude, the trip was amazing. It was absolutely everything that it needed to be. Like, we've had so many families that have talked to Julie and I over the years that have been like, well, we don't know the right time to take them. And if we take our kid when they're like 2 or younger, like they're not going to remember any of it. It's not about the kid. Like everything that Jack was watching, we were watching Jack. Like when you go on a ride and you just see their face, like they're just jaws on the floor and it's just, what's happening? It's the best feeling. Like as a dad, it was just the absolute best feeling. One of the hotels on property has a Cars area. Jack obsessed with the movie Cars. He sees Lightning McQueen. I've never seen him run so fast up to him. He's like touching him, looking at me like, do you not see this right now? Like Lightning McQueen is here. Why am I the only one freaking out? Like it was everything. And those moments make the whole trip, man. They make the whole trip.
Until he needs his own seat on the plane.
Right. At that point, it's sorry, kiddo. Your dad works in radio. We can't. That's probably not going to happen. Then we drive a lot more road trips.
Yeah, listen, that's what we do. Not that we're opposed to flying, but road trips are where it's at for us, especially with the dudes in the back with all the legroom they can possibly want.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. Friend of the program and a voice you recognize. Josh Mauer from the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network. Josh, thanks for the dub yesterday. I'm sure you had a ton to do. We appreciate you.
I didn't have nearly as much as Jacob Mizorowski did.
Oh, man. That's good. Let's start there. The Miz is dealing, and he's been dealing, yet a little crampy, and then he came out a little earlier than some of us thought, but not yesterday. So is this the Miz that we can depend on now moving forward, or is he still not drinking enough water and eating enough bananas?
I mean, it's hard to say you can depend on something like he did yesterday. Guys, yesterday was historic in a lot of different ways. If you look at just velocity readings, if you look at the fact that he went 7 innings, those were both career highs. I don't know that you can ever say that yesterday's performance is something that we should expect moving forward. That's a higher bar than I think I even want to set for Miz. But I do think we need to recognize that what we're watching is it's abnormal. It's something that we should not take for granted. We're watching true history being made pretty much every time that Miz has pitched this month. So I guess if you're trying to spin it forward and say, what should we be expecting from him for the rest of the season, for the rest of his Brewers career? Stuff like this, I think so. I mean, let's leave it at this. When he's pitching, you're going to want to be watching. Get some popcorn, whatever it is. Don't miss a Jacob Mizorowski start, because whether it's great, good, or maybe something less than that, it's still going to be worth the price of admission, I think. I mean, this guy, he's such a unicorn, guys. It's truly remarkable. I'm kind of running out of adjectives.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have to keep coming up with ones every time that he takes the mound, and you got a break to fill, and you're like, all right, how can I describe the Miz now? Josh, I was curious in regards to the Miz, just the impressiveness of not losing any of that velocity. as that was one of the big concerns we saw even just last season of, all right, well, if he starts 3 or 4 innings, we're not going to push it. We've seen in the history of the MLB that the flamethrowers flame out. Yet it seems like the Miz, we're cautiously watching the Miz be able to keep this velocity going.
I think he's learning. That's kind of what it is too. And you forget that he has relatively so few innings under his belt, minor leagues and major leagues career, that there is still a learning curve that he has to go through. Jim Henderson, who is the head of the pitching department with Chris Hook for the Brewers, said yesterday after the game that he's kind of learned. It actually was the case for most of his career until this month, that the velocity would be huge in the opening inning or two, and then it would dip somewhat significantly for the rest of the outing. He's kind of figured out how he can manage that a little bit better here. So I think it was in the 4th and then the 5th, he did dip maybe a mile per hour or two. If you looked at it, he wasn't 101. He was 99 miles an hour on a fastball, which certainly still plays great, even against very good major league hitters. And then he knows he's still got that in the reserve tank. So when they said, okay, the 7th inning is going to be your last inning, he can go out there and just empty it. And that's what he did. And he was sitting well over 100 miles an hour in his 7th inning as he went up over 90 pitches thrown for the day. All of it is, like I said, guys, it's just unprecedented because since we've been able to read velocity for Major League pitching, nobody's ever done anything like this before.
Josh Mauer joining us from the Brewers Radio Network on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. They have done some things, as in the Miz and the rest of the pitching staff, that we necessarily don't get to see on the regular. Yet there's one hole, with all due respect to Robert Gasser. What's the latest on Woody from inside where you get to sit versus us?
Well, the last that they've talked about Woody, he had thrown a couple of different live bullpens, and those went well. I know that Brandon doesn't want to go on a rehab assignment, and the Brewers have been pretty good with their veteran players, like Christian Yelich, for example, just got activated after spending a month on the injured list without having to go down to the minor leagues and play some games. I don't think that Brandon Woodruff necessarily needs to go to the minor leagues and face hitters before he could get activated, but I think that was the next step that the Brewers are trying to determine. Does he need to go down there and just get some work against other hitters? Or do we trust him that if he says he feels good, why use those bullets in a game that doesn't count for the Milwaukee Brewers? And that makes sense. He's a guy that's going to have, because of the injury issues that he's had to deal with over the last few years, the times that he feels healthy, I think you want those pitches to be for the Major League Ball Club if it's at all possible. So I think that's where they are now. They're trying to determine if he does need to go pitch to guys in the minor leagues before he then would get activated. But from all accounts, including his own, he said that he's felt very good when he's thrown his bullpens over the last week.
So Josh and I have talked about this whole idea of a rehab assignment, and we were wondering why Christian Yelich didn't have to go and do one. Like, what's so special about Yelly? Well, everything. And then Rob Zerjav from the Timber Rattlers told us that it was actually that team that made a stop in Milwaukee and did its own little rehab game for Yelly. What is it about the importance in your mind, Josh, of a rehab assignment versus just doing what Yelly did and having a mock game in BP?
Well, I just don't think you can simulate an actual game. You can try, but it's never going to be the same because the adrenaline of the pitch, if you're Yelich, the adrenaline of the pitcher that's throwing to you is going to be different than when it counts. If you're Woodruff, certainly you can't simulate what it's going to be like to be facing, for example, the St. Louis Cardinals middle of the order if you're just doing it in a live batting practice. So that's why rehab assignments exist and have for decades. And I worked in the minor leagues for long enough that I saw so many of them on the other side of it that, countless, it feels like. So I understand what it's like for those players when they're in the minor leagues on the rehab assignment, and all the other players, you kind of look up to those guys. It's different. You got to buy them a meal after the game. It's very different for that major league veteran to go have to do that in different ways than just playing the game. Going to pitch in Appleton, which Brandon Woodruff had to do several times last year on his way back from the shoulder surgery. I don't want to demean it at all in any way, because rehab assignments are awesome for so many fans that don't normally have the opportunity to see these major league players up close. But it's somewhat disruptive to the player and his normal routine and the kind of experience at the ballpark that he is used to. So you can understand why players would like to try to avoid them if that's possible. And again, in the case of Woodruff, I do think there's something specific with a pitcher who's dealt with injuries that you say, okay, you have a certain amount of bullets in the chamber. Let's use them when it really counts for the team that's paying you. And if you can avoid wasting some of those, waste might be a harsh term, but on a rehab assignment, it's not a game that the pitcher necessarily cares about the outcome in, just trying to get working. Well, maybe just don't use those bullets there if you feel like he's going to be good enough to get major league hitters out.
Josh, you talk about making sure to use those bullets when it counts. The Brewers, in still the tightest division in the National League, have gone from last to first, or 2.5 games up on the Cardinals in second place, who they're obviously facing now. And that brought up the conversation on the show earlier about, all right, let's play this out. If the Brewers were to make a push, right? And some people asking, well, who would they go and get? I was focusing more on where would they need to go and get. What area would you say the Brewers, if they needed to go, or if they were going to go and make a splash and make a big push before the trade deadline, they would go? Is it pitching? Is it a bat? Where would you think that biggest hole is?
Oh, I'm always so reluctant to try to play Matt Arnold, because those Matt and his baseball operations staff are so good at what they do. I think it's the stuff that you see every year. It's pitching, and I think a lot of it will end up being on the margins because that's the way that the Brewers operate. Mm-hmm. But you could definitely see a need for maybe another bullpen arm or two. And the starting rotation has amazing depth when you look at guys like Logan Henderson and Coleman Crowe. And I know, Trevor, you mentioned Robert Gasser, but he's been able to come up and make a couple of starts at least against pretty good major league lineups and hold his own. So I think they feel pretty good about where the starting pitching depth is at this point. But yeah, bullpen. And then there's not a secret in that the left side of the infield doesn't have any power. And whether it's been Joey Ortiz or David Hamilton or Luis Rengifo, whoever's played at third base and shortstop, there's been one total home run in 2 months. That's abnormal. It's the biggest reason that the Brewers as a team have hit the fewest home runs in Major League Baseball. So I do think if you're looking to upgrade offensively, especially with power numbers, that's maybe an area that could be focused on. But then there's also these great prospects that are in AAA right now that the Brewers may very well feel is as good of an upgrade as they could do with any bat that they go get through a trade, just by promoting some of the guys that are sitting in AAA, like Jet Williams, or everybody knows about Cooper Pratt because of the contract extension that he's already signed. So there may be internal options that may very well improve the lineup without having to give up anybody.
Yeah, and Josh, we've talked about those prospects quite a bit already this season, of waiting for when their opportunity is going to come. When do they get brought up? What needs to happen for everything to line up perfectly for them? And yet we haven't seen anything yet. And I'm wondering, is it just because they're thinking, well, these guys aren't ready to come up yet? Or is it that we're giving more opportunities to the guys that are already here?
I don't know the answer. So whatever I say is speculation, just to qualify this. I think it would probably, though, be a combination of both those things. Cooper Pratt's 21 years old, and he's not even played half a season at AAA. So let's keep that in mind. I mean, Cooper should be a junior in college right now. And Jet Williams is a little bit older, but same thing. He didn't get to AAA until I think the final month of last season when he was in the Mets organization. So those guys are getting seasoned and they're playing well right now for Nashville. But I don't know that necessarily means that the Brewers feel like they're ready at this moment to come up and play every day and be good major league hitters. So that's part of it. And the other thing is, guys, for the last 4 weeks, the Brewers have been maybe the best team in baseball as constructed. So while, yeah, you could talk about areas that they can improve on, it's hard to argue with the end results right now, which is that they're winning the majority of their games, doing what they're doing. And if it were me saying, well, do we want to have a major shakeup right now with this roster? I'd probably say, why? why do you change something that's working so well? I mean, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers this weekend. That was the first series that they lost in a month. And I promise you, they're not playing cupcakes. These last 3 weeks, it's been about the hardest stretch on a schedule that any team in baseball is going to have all season. And the Brewers won every series until the Dodgers. So, I mean, I think things are going well enough that you say, why do we really need to make a shakeup?
Well, it's because we don't have a World Series trophy. That's why. So, I mean, like any chance we get to look underneath a rock and go, maybe.
A little bit of help over here, a little bit over here.
Too, by the way, we're not going to win the World Series in May. That's the other thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Be nice.
All rational and stuff.
Yeah,
That's why we need guys like you to settle us down. Josh Mauer of the Brewers Radio Network, we appreciate you jumping on, man. As always, we won't be a stranger.
You bet, guys. Good chatting.
Thanks, Josh.
Josh Mauer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Yeah. Why upset the apple cart? That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, why now? Maybe later, but why now?
Well, and maybe that's a conversation for a different day of just talking about, all right, but then, even if it's every team but the Dodgers, well, that means if we're going to get that ring, we're getting past the Dodgers. So even if it's just focusing on what we would need to do to get past them, in my mind, it's worth talking about.
Agreed. Let's talk more about it with our guys from 9 to noon. John Kuhn, Rami Makloff. We cross over with them on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. When we get back, the studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Hey, did you know that any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty?
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. John Kuhn joining us from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. John, I'm sure you saw it. Our guy Joe Thomas was in Green Bay chatting with the line and having a little one-on-one with Tucker Kraft. We talked earlier in the show about who else could we tap into from Wisconsin football past, Badgers or Packers or other, and have them come in. A, does that work? And B, who in your mind would actually make an impact?
Well, I think any player that has the weight and the gravity that a Joe Thomas does, and I don't mean his body anymore because he lost about 250 pounds, but I'm talking about his name, his stature, and his legacy. You talk about a guy, he was an Iron Man in the NFL before. I think it was his tricep that went out on him in his 13th season. And about everything that he did in the game, his process, his play style, his ability, all of that is felt, is resonated within current players here today. And they see that and they respect that, so that everything that he says holds a higher value. Anybody that you can think of that type of caliber is more than worthwhile to come in here and speak to the players. And listen, off season and training camp, that's when you see it's like a circus up in Green Bay with the number of former players and former coaches that make their way in to see this new version of the Green Bay Packers and bestow some of their knowledge onto them.
Okay, but does that whole idea work better if it's a one-on-one in comparison to just a, hey, rookies, here's Donald Driver to talk to you about being a Green Bay Packer?
I don't know. What do you think? How would it work for you, Josh? If we got a seminar for the radio right now, who would you want to hear from?
Well, my point is that if I was in a room and with everyone and they brought someone in, or if they brought in, I don't know, some radio legend that just wanted to talk to me, it'd probably have a bigger impact.
But if that guy you met because you were walking through the hallways and he had to be in the hallways and you talked to him for 5 minutes, that would be cool. You got the one-on-one experience. Or you could hear him give a full presentation to the whole group for about an hour. Which one would you rather have? Now think real hard. Think of one of those wrestlers that you loved so much from back in the day.
Sure.
That could really, do so. Would you rather meet him for 5 minutes, talk to him in the hallway for a little bit, get a couple pictures, photo opportunities to go viral on social? Or would you rather listen to him give a message and speak about it for an hour?
Well, that's a fair point.
What about Mason Crosby as we kind of wrap up in the next minute and a half? Josh said, well, that would make sense with the new kicker.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mason should be talking to that kicker right now. Think about it when Mason came in. Why was Mason drafted by the Packers? Well, because they had themselves an older kicker who couldn't kick the ball as far as he once could, even though he was an accurate kicker. So they brought Mason in, a big old boom foot, and basically got the job right off the bat. And that's kind of what they did here with Trey Smack. So who better than to talk to you about kicking in an environment at Lambeau Field, but with the pressures of being a drafted picker with high expectations?
Well, let's just make that happen then, shall we?
Yep. Love it.
John Kuhn, Robbie
somebody's got to
Makloff.
pay for a flight. That's what I know. You pay for a flight, get Mason up here, get him in there and he'll do it.
Yeah. Moe's. Take him to Moe's.
Get on it, Moe's.
Place for steaks.
The place for steaks.
John Kuhn coming up next. 9 to noon. John Kuhn, Rami Makloff on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Our thanks to Josh Mauer for jumping on from the Brewers Radio Network. And tomorrow, scheduled to appear bright and early at 8 a.m., like he does most every Wednesday. Let us pray. Doug Gottlieb, hopefully tomorrow at 8 a.m. That's the plan. All right, Wisconsin, we'll see you then. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Because we're not done yet.